You need to meet with your advisor. You need to meet with your accountant. You need to meet with someone to help you assess what is out there and what you need. It could be that you can just go right into a QuickBooks Online product and you can do a conversion. Your data comes over. Maybe it's a QuickBooks Online version with a third-party add-on to manage your inventory needs or your manufacturing needs. Maybe it's Xero, and Xero is something that works just fine for you, and you are able to convert a couple years of data. You don't need all of it. Convert and move forward. But the timeline for that is important. One, for conversions, obviously a year end is always a good time to make that change so that you have your entire fiscal year in one software and then start the next year with the next software. Hi, and welcome to Accounting with Confidence. I'm your host, Beth Whitworth, and today I am here to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the Intuit QuickBooks software world as we are coming up on a year since the big push to get everybody into a subscription plan that Intuit sort of put in place last year and is continuing to push people out of the product and onto their subscription. So just a little background, we are talking about QuickBooks Desktop, and what's going to happen with it is really where we are trying to kind of cover the bases for those clients that have been in the product for years and years and years. And in the most recent, 12 to 18 months, we are seeing the writing on the wall that they are pushing people out of the desktop product, out of the Pro and the Premier subscriptions, out of the payroll solution inside of desktop by just increasing the prices and not allowing new subscriptions to be sold on those products. And so they're starting to really push people out of the market. And all of their marketing and all of their sales, everything that they push you to is to one of their QuickBooks Online versions. And that is not a good fit for everyone. And so we have been working to find a solution. And what I believe we have discovered is that there's not going to be a one solution that is going to fit everyone. So what's happening right now is that if you were in QuickBooks 22, so 2022, that version, that's set to sunset at the end of May of 2025. So that's their 3-year window. So really, there's probably going to be maybe one more year of this sunsetting window, and they will be forcing you into what they're calling a QuickBooks Plus subscription. And it's 2024 is the version number, but they have announced that they are no longer updating, upgrading each year. Once you're into this subscription, you will get any updates, upgrades that they are doing to the product automatically to keep your security up, to keep any new features. But what I believe is really happening is they're putting a timeline on how long it's going to be that they continue to update that software. So I'm talking specifically about Pro and Premier. Now, they are continuing to sell subscriptions of QuickBooks Enterprise, but they are also making it, it's been a subscription for a while, but they're putting the cost much, much higher. So they are continuing to bump those costs up. They say they're going to continue to support enterprise and payroll inside of enterprise, but they are still making it pretty cost prohibitive. So what does that mean for people who are still in the desktop software? My gut, and I don't have anything in writing, I don't have anything that I have researched, but my gut says you've got 12 to 18 months before that product is no longer going to be supported. And I know many people in the past have said, well, I'm just going to keep working this software because even if it's not supported anymore, I don't use any of those tools. I don't use bank feeds. I don't use anything that is required to use online. And I will tell you that with the subscription model that you would inevitably end up on, it's not going to function. You're not going to be able to just continue in that platform because it's going to require you to be able to update it. And not just for the new features and to keep those features working, but for the security. And I would tell people don't get into one of these versions and stop updating it, upgrading it, because the security maintenance is important. Everybody knows there's, cybersecurity, the hackers, there's always someone out there trying to find a database of people that they can get information so that they can, cause financial havoc. So, I'm not going to encourage anybody to just say, yeah, keep that last server version that you've installed and just keep using it. I don't think that is a good way to go. Now, last year we moved everybody who was in QuickBooks 2021 ended up in QuickBooks 2024. Now that it's been a year, because we had to make that change in April and May of 2024, the renewal prices are coming out and they are significantly increased, significantly. So what we used to spend for a single user license of QuickBooks Pro, we probably spent about $300. It is now almost $1,000. That is how hard they are pushing to get us out of the desktop version. So, okay, so what should you be doing? Knowing that there's a timeline here that you're probably going to be out of your accounting software. If you're still in a Pro or Premier product, that's a desktop version and not an online version. And the problem we have running into is there is not a one-size-fits-all solution. There's not that desktop version that we used to be able to really fit almost everyone into it. No pun intended. But with the QuickBooks Online, that has come a long, long way over the years. I mean, it is extremely popular. It has lots of levels, but it is not a replacement for a lot of the desktop functionality. Specifically, things that we run into are payroll related and inventory related. Now, if you just have a straight service business and that's what you're invoicing, that's great. But as soon as you have inventory inside of a QuickBooks Online product, it gets a little painful. Job costing isn't great. Progress billing is possible, but not as easy. So there's just a lot of pieces that QuickBooks Online does not replace, one for one. And they never said it was going to. QuickBooks Online was always put out as a separate product. However, now as they are seeing the sunsetting of the desktop versions, they're pushing everyone into one of their QuickBooks Online products. That is their solution. Hey, just go to one of our other products so that they can keep this captured audience. The problem is it is not that straightforward. There is not a way to manage sales orders. There's not a way to manage a lot of the pieces, and the cost is comparable. So you're talking a monthly subscription price. If you get to a level that has the ability to do the majority of the things you want, you're looking at spending about $20 per person per month. And that's a lot. So that is where they're trying to say, okay, well, if we make the desktop price as high as what it would be for them to have a monthly subscription inside of one of our QBO products, then it's a no-brainer. You're just going to move to QBO. Not that simple, in my opinion. So we have been researching over the last couple of years, and we have been actively moving our internal files out of QuickBooks Desktop, knowing that it is sunsetting and knowing that the first thing in that product to go is probably going to be payroll. They stopped selling payroll subscriptions inside of that product for accountants. You could no longer purchase the enhanced payroll subscription. You were grandfathered in if you had it, but you couldn't buy new ones. And so that was the first thing they put a stop to. That tells me that's probably the first thing they're going to stop supporting. So that being said, we've been looking, we've been moving, we've been researching, we've been doing a lot of things. And there's, like I said, not a one size fits all. So what we landed on for our internal structure and for a lot of client work is Xero. And that's Xero. And we met with them when we were at Scaling New Heights last year. And they have been the best fit so far. We had tried a couple of other products, and it doesn't mean that they aren't good. It means that for us, we have to cover a whole bunch of entities. So we do a lot of internal files for people, and we need it to be pretty easy to set up, to convert, to be able to have good bank feeds in there. And Xero has been one that has worked out well. And so we have become a partner with Xero and think that for the majority of our clients, that could be a good fit. It does allow you to import some QuickBooks data. What we haven't used inside of Xero is any payroll. So we have partnered with Patriot Payroll to manage our payroll subscriptions for our clients. And that's an option for people, except it doesn't do job costed payroll. And it will be hard to find any job costed payroll out there. People will say, oh yeah, we do it. Not really. I haven't seen a great one. Or if it is good, it is cost prohibitive. So there are some concerns, so for us, Xero is working fine. We looked at Accounting Suite, which is kind of all one word, Accounting Suite. And I think for our manufacturers, that might be a good fit. I cannot recall what their payroll solution was and if it job costed, but I believe it worked with one of the other payroll companies directly, maybe Gusto, but I could be wrong. So Accounting Suite was one that had some pretty good functionality around sales orders and manufacturing and those types of things. Now, the other piece that we looked at is cost. So Xero and Accounting Suite had a good price point on some things and a comparable price point to QuickBooks Online in some of their options. So there are other platforms out there. What we are going to look at and talk to when we go to Scaling New Heights this year is probably going to be Sage, which is something they were Peachtree back in the day is where all of that was. And they do have manufacturing piece, and it's a little, for QuickBooks users, it feels a little more buttoned down, which is not a bad thing, but can be process related. It can kind of get frustrating sometimes. So, but we're going to talk to them and see what products they have, because I believe someone in the industry is going to get out there and try to grab some of this market. QuickBooks Desktop users are not necessarily easily converted in their mindset and or their processes into QuickBooks Online. They're two different products. They're very different. And I will say that I cut my teeth on QuickBooks Desktop, have been using it since it was since the mid 90s. And QuickBooks Online has been a much, much slower learning curve for me. And part of that is because it's a cloud-based program that can change. You log in one day and the menu's in a different spot, or they renamed something that you used to go to all the time and now they call it something different. So for me, that is something that the desktop version didn't happen all the time. So, and when there was an upgrade, you knew when the upgrade was being loaded. So that was, it's a little different. Now, Xero is the same way. It will have updates. It's a cloud-based and it will have updates. And I'm guessing any product that anybody moves to at this point, I'm going to tell you, you're going to end up in something cloud-based unless you are very, very, very large and still have your internal servers. You need to have this, the big softwares. But that doesn't apply to most of my clients, where you're, at 5-6 million or more in revenues, you're trying to manage, just huge numbers. There are products out there. NetSuite is a big one where they're more of a customized product and probably does have payroll built into it. And so that's where those job costed payrolls can be. But again, cost prohibitive for the smaller companies. So my recommendations for those who are getting hit with their annual renewal right now with that price increase is to pay it. Buy yourself some time. So that should buy you 12 months. We're hoping, fingers crossed that they don't come out with an announcement in 6 months and says it's going to be gone. I think you're going to have a little bit longer of a window than that, but I think there is going to be an announcement in probably the next 8 to 12 months of what the timeline for these products being sunsetted is going to be. But I would say renew your subscription, buy yourself some time. The next step is going to be to assess, what do you need? What are you going to do to replace this? And the sooner you start that process, the better. Now, there's multiple options inside of QuickBooks Online. They've rolled out what they call the Intuit Enterprise Suite as a QBO product. And I believe intentionally used the word enterprise in this QBO product to try to confuse people who are trying to stay in or upgrade to enterprise QuickBooks Desktop, which I find I'm that kind of makes me a little angry that they had to just use that same word. They couldn't come up with something different to differentiate it. But that tells me enterprise is going to go away too. QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise, because they are going to replace it with these more robust products that they are rolling out in this online version. Now, the QuickBooks Enterprise, the Intuit Enterprise Suite is something where you have to talk to a sales rep. You're looking at spending, $1,000 a month on your software. Still not able to do manufacturing. So you're not doing bills of materials. You're not handling inventory great. It's just they're putting things out there to replace desktop, but still haven't made a great replacement. So, and I don't hold out that Intuit is actually going to be the one that comes up with the great replacement. I think somebody else is going to step into the market and take care of those people. But you will have options. As soon as you realize that your desktop Pro, Premier, and eventually Enterprise desktop products are going to go away, you need to start making a plan. And that may mean that you need to meet with your advisor, you need to meet with your accountant, you need to meet with someone to help you assess what is out there and what you need. It could be that you can just go right into a QuickBooks Online product and you can do a conversion, your data comes over. Maybe it's a QuickBooks Online version with a third-party add-on to manage your inventory needs or your manufacturing needs. Maybe it's Xero, and Xero is something that works just fine for you, and you are able to just convert a couple years of data. You don't need all of it. Convert and move forward. But the timeline for that is important. One, for conversions, obviously a year end is always a good time to make that change so that you have your entire fiscal year in one software and then start the next year with the next software. That makes it easier. But if you have a whole bunch of accounts receivable, a whole bunch of accounts payable, that process for a January 1st conversion starts in October, because you have to have a plan for the cutover and to be keeping this one system up to date through year end, but being able to go live on January 1 with the next system. And so you need to find someone to help you get through that process. Don't think that you're just going to be able to January 1 say, oh, yep, I want to go to Xero and be able to start billing and collecting money and paying bills and all those things right away. There is a huge timeline. So there are people out there that specialize in these things. There are other pro advisors out there who are working in, helping make a plan for these people and doing what we're doing, which is investigating the alternatives, helping find exactly what is right for you, and helping you decipher that timeline, because the timeline becomes really important. Like I said, the writing has been on the wall and it has been getting clearer and clearer and clearer. It is getting bolder, that writing, that it is going, this reign of the QuickBooks Desktop that has been around for decades is going to end. And as it saddens me because I loved the product, but I will tell you that I am not working with hardly any clients in desktop right now unless they are in enterprise. And enterprise, typically, we would say, is for those larger clients, those larger revenues, those bigger inventory needs. But now we are actually moving people who still need job costed payroll into an enterprise subscription, but it's getting costly. It's getting costly. So there's no easy way to say it, except that the price is going to dictate probably some of your decision, but it's also going to be comparable when you start looking at a month-to-month subscription in any other platform. I will say that a benefit of Xero is there's no per user subscription fee. It's unlimited. So you can have your accountant in there, you can have your whole team in there, it's got, security, it's got all these things. So there's the ability to go to Xero and maybe, yes, have some cost savings because you don't need as many users as you might need in QBO, where they start to have some limits on each version of their software only allows a certain amount of users. And then it starts to get kind of costly. So, so that's my update relating to what you should be thinking. Anybody who's got to convert, maybe you're in QuickBooks 2022 and you need to get to 2020, the 2024 that they're telling you you need to do by May 31st. I'm going to encourage you to do it, to buy yourself some time, because for most people, May 31st is, one, not your year end, and two, you may not have the support you need leading up to some sort of conversion by then because of the tax season, the busy season, where the accountants are all busy and the pro advisors are all busy getting through April 15th. So I would say go ahead, upgrade to the subscription that they're still offering you. If you renewed last year and you got your renewal price up, bite the bullet, take it, and then, schedule a time to talk with someone about what the options are. For my clients, that's me and my team to figure out, okay, let's put a solution in place. Let's put a timeline in place and know that it's not, unfortunately, it's going to be costly. Not just in the subscription price, but the conversion of it. Obviously, you're going to have people out there who specialize in this. And, we offer that type of service where we will come in and do some, the timeline of getting you converted. but it's not free. And so there's also a budgeting aspect to that as well. So I know it's not great news. I know that's not what everybody wanted to hear. It's not that different from what I talked about last year after the big, pricing changes came out. Now we're seeing even more pricing. Enterprise went up, Pro went up, Premier went up. Like I said, 2024, you're never going to see a 2025 in Pro and Premier. They've announced that they are no longer making those yearly updates, which tells me they are going to be limiting what changes they're actually making to the software to improve and enhance it. But like I said, writing's on the wall. So what do we know? We know that prices are going up. Eventually, you are going to have to make a change. It could be by the end of this year. It could be by the end of 2026. But know that you need to plan for it. You need to talk to somebody about it. What are your options? What is best for your company? And just realize that it's out of everybody's control at this point. So as things come on the radar, I'm committed to keeping everybody up to date and try to get information out so that you can make good decisions. But definitely know that it's not you're not going to get to be in desktop for the rest of your business's life cycle, I'm afraid. So, okay, that's my update on QuickBooks software for the coming 12 to 18 months. If you have any questions after you listen to this, please reach out, send me a message. Let me know what your questions are. And if there's something that I can do to assist you in either finding someone to help you make this conversion, or if I can help you make this conversion, or if I can even point you in a direction, I would be happy to. All right, everybody, that's it for now. Talk to you soon.